Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bringing you another edition of Football Game Plan University. I'm here in New Orleans, Louisiana, with Warren Easton High School's head coach Tony Hall. Tony, how's it going?
Fine. Thank you for having me.
Hey, listen, you're taking the time, meeting up with an old teammate of mine, Tony, outstanding offensive lineman, doing great things here at Warren Easton. Tony, you've had a great year so far, and you built this program to where it is today, but what has been the catalyst for the turnaround here at Warren Easton?
I would say just a vision and having a game plan in place, having something to go by, some type of process that, I have done research on, and just, I researched all the successful head college coaches and high school coaches and tried to figure out what made them successful. And I took all of those things and implemented them to whenever I wanted to become a head coach. And when I became a head coach, I implemented those things, and some of them worked, some of them didn't. So just kind of sticking to a game plan and having a vision and sticking to that vision, and having a whole lot of faith.
Now, we obviously grew up in a different time, different era in New Orleans, and where you couldn't retain kids. Guys didn't really come out for the football team. Now, do you find it tougher in this generation where kids have so many options to where they don't come back, or it's tough for you guys to come out? Do you find it as a problem now?
Well, yes and no. Yes, because in today's society, like I said, kids have so many options. Kids are not really focused on one particular thing. They just do a different amount of things, never really get specific on what they really like to do. So those type of kids, yes, it's hard to retain them and get them focused on football. However, we've been blessed to have a particular type of kid here who has a passion for football. And those type of kids are so easy to retain. They literally are gym rats or field rats. They're around here all day, every day. Their life is built around football. So over here, we have two different types of kids, and the ones that love football so much, football retains them, and not us. The ones that don't, yes, we do have a little hard time.
You played for a great, legendary head coach here in New Orleans, and Percy Dewey at Sarah T. Reed High School. You were a great offensive lineman in college at University of Louisiana. How has those two experiences prepared you to be, for your role as a head coach?
Well, I will say this: Coach Dewey has probably been my greatest influence as a coach and as a man, next to my dad. He taught me how to take an inner city kid and love them and show them the strong love that they need in order to become a man, help them become successful. So, everything, just about everything that I know comes from that guy there. And I implement, I want to say 90% of the things that we used when we was in high school. And I was blessed also to play under Jerry Baldwin at UL Lafayette. Even though our record never showed it, he was a great man who had great morals and stood for a lot of things. And the one thing he stood for is the development of the player, of the person first before the player. And and those two individuals taught me that you have to care and love the kid first before you can start to coach the player. And that's what I live by.
Now, do you think nowadays with all the everybody wants to get into coaching, everybody wants to focus on the X's and O's, do you think that's one element that a lot of young coaches miss?
I would say a lot of young coaches and a lot of coaches in general, specifically in the college and professional ranks. Before we started to get the A+ athlete, the 5-star athletes here, we didn't have many recruiters around. And now that we are, you see different types of recruiters and guys that come around, and it kind of makes you a little nauseous for what you see, because a lot of guys don't take on that they don't have that philosophy of developing a kid first and then a player. It's kind of sickening, to be honest with you. So that's one of the reasons why I'm gonna stay true to who I am, and I'm gonna continue to hire guys like me, because it's kind of a dying breed. Coaches that care about the kid first, then the player. And we know that football is what it is. However, these kids all over the country, they need some type of support system that's going to allow them to develop in a minute. Because if they don't, they're going to wind up like the guys you see on TV now.
One of my favorite questions I always ask when we do these segments, I always like to pick, the brains of coaches, and just want to know, what's your coaching philosophy?
My philosophy is that first you have to love kids. Whether they're 18, 19, 20, or 14, 13, 12, you have to love kids first. You have to coach them very, very hard. You have to be extremely tough on them whenever they mess up. You have to love them, and you have to allow them to be who they are. You know, I think one of the issues I've had when we were growing up is that coaches wanted you to fit into a particular mold. You know, you had to be like this, you had to do this. But we're all individuals. We're all different. You know, we all have different ways of interacting. You know, so I have a philosophy of allow a kid to be who he is. You know, as long as he's respectful, he's not breaking any laws, he's not harming anyone. Allow a kid to be who he is, but love him hard, coach him hard, discipline him hard. But the first and foremost thing is to love and respect him first.
All right, Coach. Now, you know, as we wrap this segment up, I always allow the coaches to give their recruiting pitch. What can the student athlete expect once they come here or enroll at Warren Easton?
Well, what they can expect is to play for a bunch of coaches that's going to love them and treat them like their own son, for one. You're going to get probably the best education in the city of New Orleans. Number two, because Warren Easton is one of the top performing schools in the city and the state of Louisiana, year in and year out. You're going to come to a school that's going to guarantee that you're going to graduate from high school. We've had a 100% graduation rate since I've been here. The school itself the past 3 years. So you're going to graduate, and you're going to have a whole lot of fun playing a whole lot of football, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to compete at the highest level. We're going to play anybody and everybody. We're going to have a whole lot of fun doing it.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking time. It's good to see you, good to catch up with you.
Thank you, brother. Same to you.
We wish you the best of luck here. And for more interviews, for more FBGPU segments, visit the website footballgameplan.com/FBGPU. For Tony Hall, I'm Emery Hunt. We'll catch you guys in another segment.